You cannot silence a mocker. This teaching begins with that truth. But here is what you can do, something far more powerful. You can make their mockery irrelevant. You can build within yourself a fortress so complete that their words break like waves against stone. Most people believe respect must be won from others. This is their first error. Respect is not given. It is irrelevant. The only opinion that shapes your peace is your own. I will show you how to construct this inner citadel. Once built, mockery does not wound you. It simply reveals the mocker's own imprisonment. Let me speak plainly about what awaits you in this teaching. You have come here carrying a weight. Someone has mocked you, perhaps yesterday, perhaps years ago, but the wound remains fresh. You replay their words, you imagine confrontations, you rehearse what you should have said, and in these rehearsals you grant your mocker a throne in your mind, where they sit day after day, disturbing your peace. This is the true violence of mockery, not the words themselves, but how you carry them long after they were spoken. Most teachers will tell you to develop thicker skin, to craft clever comebacks, to own the insult or wear it proudly. These are strategies of those who have never found genuine tranquility. They are tactics of the still wounded pretending to be healed. I offer you something different, something older, something tested not in modern seminars but in actual trials of life. In exile, in imperial courts, in the presence of tyrants who could end my life with a gesture. What you will gain from this teaching is this. First, you will understand why mockery wounds you. Not surface reasons, but the deeper architecture of why another's opinion has power to disturb your peace. This understanding alone will loosen the grip of past insults. Second, you will learn to distinguish between your true self and the image others project onto you. The mocker does not see you. They see their own creation, their own fiction. Once you grasp this fully, not intellectually but in your bones, their words lose all authority. Third, I will show you how to build what I call the citadel of self-possession. This is not metaphor. This is actual practice, actual technique. It is the cultivation of an inner state so stable that external opinion, whether praise or mockery, becomes like weather to a mountain. Noted, perhaps, but inconsequential. Fourth, you will discover the subtle power of non-reaction. This is not weakness or avoidance. It is perhaps the most devastating response possible. The mocker seeks your reaction. They feed on it. When you deny them this food, their mockery becomes echo without answer. Finally, you will learn something that may surprise you. Gratitude toward your mockers. Not false gratitude, but genuine appreciation for the gift they unknowingly gave you. The gift of revealing where you still depend on external validation, where your fortress still has gaps, where you have not yet claimed your full freedom. I do not promise this will be easy. The mind resists this teaching because it has spent years believing that others' opinions matter, that reputation is worth defending, that mockery must be answered. But I promise you this, if you stay with me through this hour, if you truly hear what I am saying beneath the words, you will walk away changed, not inspired. Inspiration fades. Changed. You will possess a method, a practice, a way of being that transforms not only how you respond to mockery, but how you move through the entire world. The man who needs no validation from others is truly free. The woman who stands secure in her own self-knowledge cannot be shaken by opinion. This freedom, this unshakable tranquility, is what I offer you today. Not techniques to win arguments with mockers, not strategies to defeat critics, but something far more valuable, the realization that you were never in a battle to begin with. The mocker is at war with themselves. You need only step aside and watch. Now, let us begin the real work. Let me tell you about Augustus Caesar and a man named Timagenes. Timagenes was a historian, brilliant, witty, and utterly without restraint. He made jokes about Augustus, about the emperor's wife, about his entire household. These were not private jests. They spread through Rome like wildfire, because clever cruelty always does. At first, Augustus warned him gently, "Use your tongue with greater care." But Timagenes could not help himself. The attention was too sweet. So Augustus did something simple. He barred Timagenes from his home. Now here is where the story becomes instructive. Timagenes did not disappear into obscurity. He became the intimate friend of Asinius Pollio, one of Rome's most respected men. He remained the toast of the town. He even recited a new history and threw the sections praising Augustus into the fire, a public insult impossible to ignore. The city watched. Would Augustus retaliate? Would he use his absolute power to crush this gadfly? Augustus did nothing. When people conducted feuds with Timagenes, Augustus did not join them. When Pollio harbored this man who had insulted the emperor, Augustus simply said, "You are keeping a wild beast." When Pollio offered to banish Timagenes from his house, Augustus stopped him. "Do you think I would do that after I worked to reconcile you two? Enjoy your friend, my dear Pollio. Enjoy." Observe what Augustus understood. Timagenes was already in prison, not literal bars, but the prison of his own need for attention, his compulsion to provoke, his inability to simply be at peace. Every insult was proof of his enslavement. Augustus, ruling the entire world, could afford to let a historian's mockery pass like wind through an open window. Why? Because his power did not depend on Timagenes's opinion. His peace was not disturbed by Timagenes's words. He had nothing to prove. The remarkable thing? Timagenes is remembered primarily for being forgiven. His clever insults are footnotes. Augustus's forbearance became legend. The one who maintains tranquility in the face of mockery is remembered with admiration. The mocker is remembered only as the one who failed to disturb that tranquility. Your dignity in the face of insult becomes your monument. Their mockery becomes merely the backdrop that makes your composure shine brighter. Now let me tell you about Philip of Macedon, father of Alexander. Philip was receiving ambassadors from Athens. Among them stood Demochares, nicknamed Free Talker, for his aggressive, insulting manner. After hearing their requests, Philip spoke graciously. "Tell me what I can do to please the Athenians." Demochares did not hesitate. In front of the entire court, he replied, "Go hang yourself." The room erupted. Philip's guards and advisers filled with indignation. How dare this foreign ambassador speak such words to their king? Surely he must be punished, imprisoned, executed, made an example. Philip raised his hand for silence. "Let him go," he said calmly. "Let this great Thersites leave here safe and unharmed. But you other ambassadors, tell the Athenians something for me. The people who say such things are far more arrogant than those who hear them and leave them unpunished." Do you see what Philip understood? Demochares had revealed his own character, not Philip's. The insult said nothing about Philip's worth or power. It demonstrated only Demochares' own lack of self-control, his inability to speak with dignity, his poverty of spirit. Philip's restraint was not weakness, it was supreme confidence. A man secure in his own strength does not need to punish every slight. He can afford to let fools reveal themselves. The truly powerful response to mockery is not a crushing retort. It is the quiet recognition that the mocker has already defeated himself. Every time someone mocks you, they are telling the world something about themselves. They are announcing their own insecurity, their own need to diminish others to feel significant. When you respond with calm dignity or simple silence, you let their announcement stand. The contrast speaks for itself. Now I will share something personal. When I was younger, ambitious, sharp-tongued, eager to prove myself in Rome's competitive intellectual circles, I cultivated wit like a weapon. I could devastate opponents with words. I thought this made me powerful. Then came exile. One day in Rome, celebrated and influential. The next, stripped of everything: wealth, position, home, reputation, and sent to Corsica. No amount of clever rhetoric could change it. No witty comeback could reverse the emperor's decision. In those first months on that barren island, I burned with rage. Every perceived slight from my past haunted me. Every criticism, every mocking word, every dismissive gesture, they all came back, and I had no defense because my defenses had always been external. My reputation, my position, my ability to strike back with words sharper than any blade. All of that was gone, and in that stripping away, something unexpected emerged. When you have nothing left to defend, you stop defending. When no one's opinion matters because you have already lost everything their opinions could affect, you discover that their opinions never mattered at all. I sat on those rocks, watching waves crash against cliffs, and I began to understand. I had spent years enslaved to the judgments of people I did not even respect. I had given my peace, my precious, irreplaceable inner peace, to anyone who wanted to take it. I had made myself a beggar, asking for validation from every passing stranger. The island taught me to be self-sufficient in the one thing that actually matters: my own mind's tranquility. When I returned to Rome years later, I was changed. The mockery was still there, perhaps even worse, for I was now marked by exile. But it did not touch me. The words were the same. What changed was my realization that I did not need these people's approval to be at peace. That realization did not make me bitter or withdrawn. It made me free. And that freedom, the freedom to move through the world without constantly gauging others' reactions, without flinching at criticism, without needing to defend or explain or justify, that freedom was worth every day of exile. Your mockers are giving you the same gift, if you will receive it. They are showing you where you still depend on external validation. They are revealing the chains you did not know you wore. Let us examine why mockery disturbs you. Not the surface answer, but the actual mechanism by which words create suffering. Mockery has power over you for one reason only. You believe the mocker's judgment matters. Observe it closely. When a small child insults you, you feel no wound. Why? Because you do not value the child's judgment. The words may be identical to what an adult might say, but they carry no weight. When a mentally disturbed person on the street shouts insults at you, you feel no genuine hurt. You might feel pity, perhaps concern, but not the deep sting of mockery. Why? Because you do not grant their judgment authority over your worth. But when someone you perceive as your equal, or worse, your superior, mocks you, the wound is immediate. This reveals something crucial. The pain does not originate in their words. It originates in your own valuation of their judgment. You have, unconsciously, granted them the authority to define your worth. You have made them the judge, and yourself the defendant. And in this self-constructed courtroom, their verdict matters because you have already decided it should. Here is the liberating truth. They have no such authority except what you give them. None. Their opinion of you is nothing more than their opinion, a transient thought in their head, conditioned by their own fears, insecurities, and limitations. When they mock you, They are revealing themselves. They are showing you their need to diminish others, their discomfort with your presence, their own inner poverty that requires them to tear down what they cannot build. You would not let a starving man judge the quality of your feast. Why let an impoverished spirit judge the quality of your character? A person who needs to mock others is not operating from strength or wisdom. They are operating from lack. Secure people do not mock. Content people do not need to diminish others. The person at peace within themselves has no compulsion to disturb the peace of others. So, when mockery comes your way, see it for what it truly is. A cry from someone who is suffering. Not a valid judgment about your worth, but an expression of their own pain. This does not make the mockery acceptable. It makes it understandable, and understanding removes the sting. Now we must make a crucial distinction. There is the person you actually are, and there is the image of you that exists in others' minds. These are not the same thing. When someone mocks you, they are mocking their image of you, their mental construction, their projection, their fiction. They are not and cannot be mocking the actual you because they do not have access to the actual you. They have access only to their limited perception, filtered through their own biases, expectations, and needs. They are mocking a character they have created in their own imagination, a character that bears your name, perhaps shares some of your visible qualities, but is ultimately their creation, not yours. Why would you defend a fiction you did not write? When you truly grasp that mockery is always directed at an image, never at your essential self, the sting disappears. Let them mock their image. It has nothing to do with you, but here is where the teaching deepens. You, too, have been defending an image, not their image of you, but your own image. The person you think you should be, the reputation you think you should have, the respect you think you deserve. This image is also a fiction. It is your own creation, built from childhood conditioning, social expectations, and countless unconscious assumptions about what makes a person valuable. When mockery wounds you, it wounds this self-created image. It threatens the story you tell yourself about who you are. Freedom comes when you release both images, theirs and yours. When you stop defending fictions and rest in the simple reality of what you are. A conscious being, here now, requiring nothing external to be complete, the you that actually exists, the awareness behind your thoughts, the consciousness experiencing this moment, cannot be mocked. It is untouchable. This is what the ancient Stoics meant when they spoke of the sovereign self. Not an arrogant ego demanding respect, but a fundamental being that requires no validation because it is already complete. When you rest in this truth, not as an idea but as a lived reality, mockery becomes like rain falling on the ocean. It makes ripples on the surface, but the depths remain unmoved. Now, I teach you the practice that makes all of this real. Philosophy without practice is mere entertainment. Let me give you the actual method for building the citadel of self-possession, an inner fortress that mockery cannot penetrate. First foundation, daily examination. Each evening, before sleep, review your day. Not to judge yourself harshly, but to observe clearly. Ask, when did I give my peace away today? When did someone's opinion disturb me? Why did I grant that person authority over my tranquility? Write it down if you wish. The act of naming the pattern begins to break it. Most people never examine why they react as they do. They simply react again and again in the same patterns. You will be different. You will observe yourself with the curiosity of a scientist studying a fascinating subject, and in that observation you will find the gaps in your fortress. Second foundation, the practice of premeditation. Each morning, before the day begins, anticipate the challenges ahead. Tell yourself, today, someone may mock me. Someone may criticize, judge, dismiss, or insult me. This is neither good nor bad. It simply is. My peace depends not on their behavior, but on my response to it. This is not pessimism. It is preparation. You do not hope for mockery, but you remove its power to surprise you. When you have already accepted the possibility, the reality cannot shake you. Third foundation, the separation exercise. When mockery occurs, pause. In that pause, create distance. Say to yourself, a person is saying words. These words are meant to disturb me, but I am not my reputation. I am not their opinion. I am the awareness observing this moment, this separation, this conscious stepping back from identification with the target of mockery is the heart of the practice. You are recognizing that mockery exists out there, and you exist in here, in the sovereign territory of your own consciousness. This takes practice. Your old patterns will resist. You have spent years identifying with your reputation, with others' opinions. Those patterns are strong, but they are just patterns. They are not you. Each time you practice this separation, you weaken the old pattern and strengthen the new one. Each time you choose to observe rather than react, you reclaim a piece of your freedom. Fourth foundation, the gratitude turn. After the mockery, after you have created separation, after you have maintained your peace, turn and silently thank the mocker, not with sarcasm, with genuine gratitude. Why? Because they have just given you an opportunity to practice. They have just shown you where you still have work to do. They have just strengthened your fortress by testing it. Every mocker is, unknowingly, your teacher. They are showing you the gaps in your self-possession. Without them, you might believe yourself stronger than you are. With them, you become actually strong. Your mockers are providing you with difficult exercises. They are making you stronger, whether they intend to or not. Fifth foundation, the practice of indifference. Train yourself, gradually, to treat all external judgments with the same indifference. Not just mockery, all of it. Praise and blame, admiration and contempt. Success and failure in others' eyes. This does not mean becoming cold or inhuman. It means recognizing that your tranquility cannot depend on the shifting winds of opinion. Today they praise you, tomorrow they mock you. The same people, the same you. I will tell you something that may disturb you. Praise is as dangerous as mockery, perhaps more dangerous, because it is more seductive. When someone praises you, you feel good. You want more of that feeling, so you begin to shape your behavior to earn more praise. You become enslaved to their approval. And then, when the praise stops or turns to criticism, you feel devastated. The solution is not to reject praise rudely. It is to receive it politely, but hold it lightly. Thank them, but do not let their praise define your worth any more than you let mockery diminish it. Both are external, both are ephemeral, both are irrelevant to your actual worth, which exists independent of anyone's opinion. Build the citadel, stone by stone, practice by practice, day by day. Let me now reveal something that will change how you respond to mockery forever. The mocker wants something from you, always. They want to see you disturbed. They want to witness your reaction. They want proof that their words have power. This is why they mock. Not because you deserve it, not because it is accurate, but because they crave the reaction. Your reaction is their food. It validates them. It proves their potency. It gives them what they are actually seeking. The feeling that they matter, that they can affect others, that they have power. When you understand this, you possess the ultimate weapon. You can starve them. Non-reaction is not suppression. Suppression is when you boil inside while pretending calm on the surface. That is exhausting and ultimately ineffective. Non-reaction is something different. It is genuine indifference born from genuine understanding. When you truly grasp that the mockery has nothing to do with you, there is nothing to suppress. There is simply no reaction to have. This is devastating to the mocker. Their words land on stone and shatter. They get no fuel, no drama, no proof of their power. And in that absence of reaction, they are forced to confront their own emptiness. Watch what happens when you practice this. The mocker will often escalate at first. They will mock harder, more crudely, more desperately. This is their last attempt to get the reaction they crave. If you remain unmoved, not with effort, but with genuine tranquility, they will eventually exhaust themselves and move on. But here is the subtle power. Your non-reaction does not just frustrate the mocker. It reveals them. To everyone watching, your calm dignity against their desperate provocations shows exactly who possesses self-command and who does not. You win, not by fighting, but by being unshakable, not by proving them wrong, but by demonstrating that their judgment is irrelevant. This is not cruelty on your part. You wish them no harm. You simply refuse to participate in their game, and in refusing, you model something they may one day recognize, what it looks like to be genuinely free. The person who maintains their composure gains the respect of everyone watching. The mocker loses respect with every desperate attempt to provoke a reaction. There is a saying I learned long ago: the person who angers you controls you. Every time you let mockery disturb your peace, you hand control of your emotional state to the mocker. You make them more powerful than you. They pull a string and you dance. They speak a word and you react. This is slavery. Not literal slavery with chains, but slavery nonetheless. You are not free if your inner state depends on others' words. True freedom is this. Someone mocks you. You hear the words. You understand they are trying to disturb you, and you simply do not care. Not because you have convinced yourself not to care, but because you genuinely see that their opinion has no bearing on your peace. This is power. This is strength. This is what it means to be self-possessed. And once you taste this freedom, you will never willingly return to the prison of caring what mockers think. Now let me address the mockery that has already wounded you, the insults you carry from days or years past. These old wounds persist because you continue to rehearse them. You replay the scene. You imagine what you should have said. You keep the wound fresh by repeatedly reopening it in your mind. This rehearsal is a habit, and like all habits, it can be broken. Begin by recognizing what you are actually doing. You are choosing, right now, to disturb your own peace by remembering an event that is no longer happening. The mocker is not even present. You are doing their work for them. When you notice yourself rehearsing old mockery, stop. Say, "This is the past. It is not happening now. I am disturbing my present peace for the sake of a memory. I release this. It may take many repetitions. The habit is strong, but each time you choose to release the memory rather than rehearse it, you weaken its grip. The past mockery cannot hurt you now unless you keep it alive. It has no power except the power you give it by constantly bringing it back into the present. Every moment you spend disturbed by past mockery is a moment of your life given to someone who does not deserve it. Your present peace is too valuable to sacrifice for the sake of old wounds. Let the past be past. Let the wound heal by no longer touching it. And if you find this difficult, If the memories are particularly deep or painful, then use them. Use them as fuel for building your fortress. Say, "Because I was wounded then, I will become unshakable now. Because they once disturbed my peace, I will build a peace nothing can disturb." Transform the wound into wisdom. Transform the pain into strength. Transform the memory into fuel for your own liberation. The insults that wounded me most deeply in my youth became the foundation of my greatest strength in later years. Not because I forgot them, but because I used them to understand the mechanism of wounding. Each insult taught me something about where I was vulnerable, where I still needed external validation. And as I learned these lessons, as I strengthened those weak points, the insults lost their power. Now, let me give you the specific practices you can begin today. Each morning, before your day begins, take 5 minutes for this exercise. Sit quietly. Say to yourself, with intention, "Today I will encounter difficult people." Some may be controlling, ungrateful, arrogant, envious, or cruel. They are this way because they cannot distinguish good from bad. But I have seen the nature of good, that it is beautiful, and the nature of evil, that it is ugly. I know that the person mocking me is my kin, not through blood, but through sharing the same rational mind. They cannot harm me because they cannot make me do wrong. I cannot be angry with them or hate them, for we are made to work together. Now add, "If I encounter mockery today, I will remember. The mocker is enslaved to their need for reaction. I am free. Their words are noise. My peace is unshakable. I will respond with silence or dignity, not because they deserve it, but because I will not compromise my own tranquility for the sake of their emptiness." This morning practice sets the foundation for your day. You are not hoping to avoid mockery. You are preparing to be undisturbed by it. When mockery comes, and it will come, you will not be caught off guard. You will have already decided how you will respond. And that decision, made in calm reflection rather than reactive emotion, will protect your peace. When mockery actually occurs, use this 3-step process. Step 1. Pause. Do not react immediately. Create even a moment of silence. In that moment, you reclaim your power. The gap between stimulus and response is where your freedom lives. Most people have no gap. Mockery happens, and they react instantly. But you will be different. You will create that gap, that pause, that space where choice becomes possible. Step 2. Separate. Mentally step back. Observe the situation as if from outside. A person is using words. They want to disturb me, but I am not required to be disturbed. I can choose my response. This observation, this conscious witnessing, breaks the automatic pattern. You are no longer identified with the target of mockery. You are the awareness watching the mockery occur. And from that place of awareness, you have infinite options. Step 3. Respond consciously. You have 3 options. Option 1. Silence. Simply let the words pass without acknowledgement. This is often the most powerful response. Your calm silence speaks volumes. Option 2. Neutral acknowledgement. I understand that is your view, spoken without heat or emotion. This acknowledges their speech without validating their judgment. Option 3. Dignified redirection. I do not find value in this conversation. Spoken calmly, followed by your withdrawal. Notice what you do not do. You do not defend. You do not attack. You do not explain or justify. You do not prove them wrong. All of these responses give them what they want, your emotional engagement. Instead, you demonstrate through your bearing that their mockery simply does not matter to you. Not because you are above it all with false superiority, but because you genuinely understand that their opinion has no authority over your peace. Practice this. At first, it will feel unnatural. Your old patterns will want to surge forward. The defensive explanations, the cutting retorts. Notice these impulses. Do not judge yourself for having them. Simply notice them and choose differently. With practice, this pause, separate, respond pattern becomes automatic. You develop a kind of reflexive tranquility that engages before mockery can wound you. Each evening, review your day with these questions. First, when was my peace disturbed today? Name the specific moment. Second, why did I grant that person or situation authority over my tranquility? Be honest. What were you protecting? What image were you defending? Third, what would I do differently if the same situation occurred tomorrow? Imagine yourself responding with calm dignity. See yourself using the pause, separate, respond technique. Fourth, what did this disturbance teach me? Every breach in your peace is information. It shows you where your fortress needs strengthening. Write this down if it helps. But here is the crucial element. Do this review without self-judgment. You are not berating yourself for failing. You are observing, with scientific interest, the workings of your own mind. Over time, weeks, months, you will notice patterns. You will see that certain types of mockery disturb you while others do not. You will understand which self-images you are still protecting. This self-knowledge is power. With it, you can systematically dismantle every vulnerability. This is how you build the citadel, not in one dramatic moment, but through daily practice, daily observation, daily choice to respond differently. Once weekly, practice this meditation. Sit comfortably, close your eyes, breathe slowly. Now imagine the person who mocks you. See them clearly. But instead of seeing them as your antagonist, try this. See them as suffering. See that their need to mock comes from their own pain, their own insecurity, their own sense of inadequacy. They mock because they hurt. They attack because they feel small. This is reality. Secure, content people do not mock others. Only the suffering creates suffering. Now, expand further. See that this suffering person is, like you, trying to navigate a difficult world with limited understanding. They are doing the best they can with what they know. It simply is not very good. Can you feel compassion for them? Not pity. Pity is condescending. Compassion, the recognition that suffering is universal and that we are all struggling toward understanding. This practice removes the mocker from the category of enemy and places them in the category of fellow struggling being. When you see them this way, their mockery loses its power to wound because you understand its source. You may never tell them this. You may never have contact with them again. But this internal shift from antagonism to compassion frees you completely. You are no longer fighting them. You are simply observing a suffering person doing what suffering people do. And in that observation, there is peace. Not the peace of victory over an enemy, but the peace of understanding that there was never an enemy to begin with. Only a confused, suffering person lashing out from their own pain. Finally, make this your daily anchor. My tranquility depends on nothing external, not on reputation, not on others' opinions, not on praise or blame. I am complete within myself. I need nothing from anyone to be at peace. I walk through the world free, free from the need to be understood, free from the need to be validated, free from the need to prove my worth. My worth simply is. It requires no defense, no explanation, no external confirmation. Today and every day, I choose peace. I choose self-possession. I choose freedom. Speak this each morning. Let these words sink deep. Over time, they become not merely words, but the truth of your being. This is recognition. You are recognizing a truth that was always there but which you forgot. You are already complete. You already possess everything you need for peace. You have simply been convinced otherwise by years of conditioning that taught you to seek validation externally. Now you are unlearning that conditioning. You are returning to the truth you knew before the world taught you to doubt it. And in that return, you find freedom. Not freedom from mockery, for mockery will always exist, but freedom from caring about mockery, freedom from letting it disturb your peace, freedom from needing to respond, to defend, to prove, freedom to simply be, untouched by the turbulence of others' opinions. This teaching is not about becoming invulnerable to mockery through hardness. It is about building a foundation so solid that mockery simply has nothing to strike. You remain soft, human, open, but your peace rests on bedrock that cannot be shaken by another's words. You can still love. You can still connect. You can still be moved by beauty and sorrow, but you cannot be moved by the empty opinions of those who do not truly see you. A tree with deep roots can weather any storm without becoming rigid. It bends but does not break. It moves with the wind but remains rooted. This is what you are building. Deep roots that anchor you in your own truth, your own worth, your own unshakable peace. The practices I have given you are not complicated. They require only willingness. Willingness to observe yourself honestly. Willingness to question the patterns you have accepted for years. Willingness to choose differently when mockery comes. 5 minutes each morning to prepare. 5 minutes each evening to review. In the moment, a pause, a separation, a conscious choice. Once weekly, a meditation on compassion. Daily, an affirmation of your self-sufficiency. This is the architecture of freedom. Simple but not easy. Simple because the practices are straightforward. Not easy because you must do them consistently, even when you do not feel like it, even when the old patterns pull strong. But here is what I promise you. If you commit to these practices, if you make them as regular as eating or sleeping, you will change, not in dramatic, visible ways, in subtle, internal ways that transform everything. You will find that mockery, which once consumed your thoughts for days, now passes through your awareness like a cloud across the sky. Present for a moment, then gone, leaving no trace. You will find that your need for others' approval, which once drove so many of your decisions, simply fades. You will make choices based on your own values, your own wisdom, your own sense of what is right, without constantly checking whether others will approve. You will find that your relationships improve, not because you have learned clever techniques, but because you no longer need anything from them. You can give freely because you are not trying to extract validation. You can receive freely because you are not desperate for approval. You can walk away freely because you are not enslaved to their opinion. This is what freedom looks like. Not isolation, but connection without attachment. Not indifference, but engagement without dependence. And you will find, perhaps most surprisingly, that you become grateful for your mockers. Not in a forced way, but genuinely. Because they showed you where you were still enslaved. They revealed the chains you did not know you wore. Without them, you might have remained unconscious, believing yourself free while actually being bound. With them, you had the opportunity to become truly free. This does not mean you seek out mockery or tolerate abuse. It means that when mockery comes, as it inevitably will, you see it as opportunity rather than attack. You use it to strengthen your practice rather than letting it weaken your peace. You transform poison into medicine. This is the art of the Stoic philosopher, not avoiding difficulty, but using difficulty to become stronger, not seeking ease, but finding peace within challenge. You have walked with me through this teaching. Now, I must leave you with the essential truth. You are not the image others create of you. You are not your reputation. You are not the sum of opinions held about you. You are a sovereign consciousness, complete in yourself, requiring nothing external to be whole. When you rest in this truth, truly rest there, not merely understand it intellectually, mockery becomes irrelevant, not ignored through great effort, but genuinely irrelevant because you have seen through the illusion that it ever mattered. The mocker speaks. Let them speak. Their words are wind passing through empty space. You remain unmoved, not because you are strong in the conventional sense, but because there is nothing to move, no false image to defend, no reputation to protect, no desperate need for validation. This is tranquility. This is freedom. This is what the ancient Stoics meant by virtue, living in accordance with reason and nature, undisturbed by fortune or opinion. I have given you the practices. Daily examination. Morning preparation. Pause, separate, respond. Evening review, compassion meditation, self-sufficiency affirmation. These are not mere exercises. They are the architecture of a free life. Use them daily, without exception. Even when you do not feel like it, especially when you do not feel like it, because the days when you least want to practice are often the days when you need the practice most. The man who needs no validation from others is truly free. You can be that man. You can be that woman. The tools are here. The path is clear. What remains is your commitment to walk it. May your citadel stand firm. May your peace remain unbroken. May you move through this world with the quiet dignity of one who knows their own worth and needs no one to confirm it. Go now. Practice. Build. Become unshakable. And if this teaching has served you, if you have glimpsed the freedom that awaits, then subscribe to this channel. Let more of this ancient wisdom reach you. Share this with someone who needs it. Leave a comment telling me what resonated, what challenged you, what you will practice first. But more than any of that, live it. Make this teaching real through your daily practice. Become the proof that words cannot wound the self-possessed soul. I am with you in this work. We build our citadels together, stone by stone, practice by practice, until we stand free, until mockery becomes merely noise that disturbs us no more than wind disturbs the mountain, until we walk through the world needing nothing, fearing nothing, defended by nothing except the fortress of our own self-knowledge. This is the gift I offer you, not comfort, but freedom, not techniques to win arguments, but wisdom to transcend them entirely, not the ability to silence mockers, but something far greater, the ability to make their mockery irrelevant. Take this gift, use it, become free, and when you have found your own freedom, help others find theirs. This is how wisdom spreads, not through preaching, but through living, not through words, but through example. Be that example, be unshakable, be free.